Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder if you're really feeling your heart or just thinking about it? Today we're diving into a fascinating study that explores just that, asking if we can truly tell the difference between sensing our heartbeat and just guessing when it might be. So imagine this, scientists have been trying to measure how well people can feel their own internal body signals, like their heartbeat. It is called interoception, but here is the puzzle. Different tests for measuring this don't seem to agree with each other. This new research wanted to figure out why. They came up with a clever new way to test. Think about it. When we count our heartbeats to see how good we are at sensing them, are we really feeling each beat, or are we just sort of guessing based on how fast we think our heart is beating? This new study argues that we might be doing two different things when we try to perceive our heartbeat. One part is actually sensing it, feeling it happen. The other part is judging when it happens, like placing it in time with something else. The problem is most existing tests kind of mash these two things together. They ask you to do something, and then you get one answer. But what if you could answer two questions about your heartbeat perception in the same try? That's exactly what this research team set out to do. They created a new task called the one-shot heartbeat detection task. Here is how it worked. On each trial, you'd be cued to focus on your heart. Then you'd press a button as soon as you felt your first heartbeat. This was the first part actually detecting it. After that, you had to keep paying attention. Then a little flash of light would appear, either right on time with another heartbeat or a little bit later. Your job was to say if the light felt like it was in sync with your heartbeat. You also had to say how sure you were about your answer. They also did a similar version with sounds. They'd cue you to listen, press a button when you heard the first tone, and then judge if a light flash was in time with the next sound. This was super important to see if the heartbeat thing was special, or if it was just about judging timing in general. They tested a bunch of people, including using the classic heartbeat counting task as a comparison. So what did they find? In the heartbeat part of the task, people were pretty good at pressing the button when they thought they felt a beat. But when it came to judging if a light was in time with their heartbeat, they weren't as accurate as when they did the same task with sounds. Even more interesting, when a person reported feeling their heartbeat at the beginning of the trial, it made them more confident about whether the light was in sync, but it didn't actually make them more accurate at judging the timing. This was true for both heartbeats and sounds. It's like feeling something makes you feel sure you felt it, but it doesn't necessarily make you better at placing it precisely in time. They also saw that your ability to detect your heartbeat at the start of the trial was linked to how well you did on the older heartbeat counting task. But your accuracy in judging the timing of the light with your heartbeat wasn't really related to the counting task. This suggests that the counting task might be more about detecting your heartbeats, not necessarily about precisely timing them. This is a big deal because it genuinely shows that sensing your heartbeat and judging its timing are two separate abilities. It is not just one thing called heartbeat perception. It's more like one part is about the feeling, and another is about the timing. And it seems like feeling the beat makes you feel more certain. But it doesn't automatically make you better at judging its timing. Now, they wanted to push this further. In the next experiment, they changed things up a bit. They made the visual flash last longer, and they also experimented with longer waits between when you first felt a beat and when the flash appeared. They wanted to see if holding on to that feeling of a heartbeat for a longer time would mess with your ability to judge its timing. They tested people again, this time without the sound control, focusing just on the heartbeat part. They had these longer waiting periods going from just a couple of beats all the way up to 22 beats. That's a lot of heartbeats to wait through. And guess what? Even with these much longer waiting periods, people's ability to accurately judge the timing of the light with their heartbeat didn't really change. It stayed pretty steady. This is really surprising. You might think that waiting longer would make the feeling of your heartbeat fade away, making it harder to judge timing. But that wasn't what they found. The accuracy stayed the same. Just like in the first experiment, feeling the heartbeat at the start of a trial still made people more confident in their timing judgment, but it still didn't make them more accurate. So even with these different conditions, the core finding held strong, feeling it gives you confidence, but not necessarily better performance in timing. To make sure their findings were solid, they conducted a third experiment with a new group of people. This time, they used a shortened version of their task, sticking with the heartbeat for now, and keeping the timing and flash duration the same as in experiment 2. They wanted to see if the same patterns would pop up again. And indeed they did. The shortened task still showed that feeling a heartbeat made participants more confident, but not more accurate in their timing judgment. This pattern, the dissociation between confidence and accuracy, seemed to be a consistent finding across all three experiments. So, What does all this mean? This research has really shown us that our ability to perceive our heartbeat isn't just one simple skill. It's made up of at least two parts. First, the ability to actually detect that you are feeling your heartbeat. And second, the ability to judge its timing relative to other events. And it seems like the classic heartbeat counting tasks we've been using are mostly tapping into that first part, the detection. When people were better at detecting their heartbeats or felt more ready to say something was in time with their heartbeat, they tended to do better on the counting task. But when they were more accurate at judging the timing itself, that didn't seem to relate to their heartbeat counting performance. This explains why different heartbeat tests have been so inconsistent. They're not measuring the exact same thing. Now, no study is perfect. In experiment 2, they changed a few things at once, like the flash duration and timing, so it is hard to say exactly which change made the biggest difference. And while the pooled analysis across all 3 experiments was strong, it used summaries of the data, not one giant analysis of everything at once. They also didn't look at what happens to your body's actual signals when you are focusing on your heart for a long time or what's going on in the brain. But even with these limitations, the findings are really important. They point to the fact that when we talk about interoception, or our ability to sense our internal bodily signals, we need to be more specific. Are we talking about just feeling it or judging its timing? Different tasks, even sophisticated ones, might be measuring these different parts. This research is a huge step forward in understanding how we sense our own bodies. It suggests that when you try to measure how well someone can feel their heart, it's worth considering whether you are tapping into their ability to just sense the beat or their skill at placing that beat in time. This distinction could be crucial for understanding things like anxiety, emotional regulation, and even decision-making. So next time you're thinking about your heartbeat, remember there might be a whole lot more going on than you realize. What do you think about these findings? Does this change how you think about sensing your own body? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this episode fascinating, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Rubin's Mind Lab for more mind bending science, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into the human mind. See you next time.